Hey everybody, I'm here with a quick story on Dakara Thompson. If you don't know who she is the young lady that told her dad one day that she was going to get gas and she'll be right back. Well, right back never came. The dad immediately, like the next day, reported his daughter missing, but it wasn't a big media coverage on it or anything. They found her car, and when they found her car still had her belongings in it, and so they knew something crazy had to happen. By the time they found Dakara, she was discarded. Her body was dismembered. They did catch the perpetrator who did this to her, but the family just felt like if they were listened to earlier, more perhaps could have been done, and maybe their daughter would still be alive. But then it brings up the story that when Black girls go missing, no one cares. Let me share a screen so we could get more into this story.
Why she died than any family should have to bear. But it leaves us with tough questions too about what more newsrooms and police departments should do when our neighbors are Black and missing.
We just want our home safe.
It moves me to anger, and it moves me to action, and it moves me to want to take a second look at what could have been done differently.
Pam Butler, Relisha Rudd, and Unique Harris all deserve better. All of them from D.C., all reported missing years ago. More recently, Decara Thompson deserved better too. The 19-year-old woman from Lanham in Prince George's County told her parents she was going to get gas on August 22nd. She never came back. Her family reported her missing the next day. And the day after that, her car was found with many of her belongings still in it. A Bowie man, now charged with her murder. Court documents describe it in awful ways. The case raises questions about what happened when her family reported her missing, whether police and the news media reported her case fast enough. And that brings up questions we've asked in newsrooms for far too long that maybe we still haven't answered fully enough. This is For More Context, your seat in the News 4 newsroom for a conversation about how we check facts, fight for answers, break stories, and hold each other accountable. Tracy, tell me about the first time you heard about Dakara Thompson.
The first time I heard about Dakara Thompson was from one of my best friends. And she said, have you all done a story on this missing girl in Prince George's County? And I said, what missing girl in Prince George's County? She said, my cousin sent me a flyer, and her family's been posting stuff on social media.
Social media.
She's been missing for a few days.
Wow.
And so the next day in our morning meeting, I pitched, hey, there's this young lady who's been missing.
We were alerted via social media that Dakara was missing. And with all of our cases, we have to verify with law enforcement that it's actually a true missing person. And once we did that, we immediately uploaded her information to our social media platform because time is of the essence.
Yeah.
And with her case, 24 to 48 hours passed without broad coverage.
It's not like her at all. This is out of the norm for her. She's a introvert. She doesn't have an enormous amount, like a lot of friends that she hangs with or anything like that.
And our morning meeting, that's where all of our producers and managers and reporters are. People are trying to figure out what we're going to cover that.
Yeah, we talk about the news of the day. We talk about what we've heard, what we think we need to be covering.
Yeah.
And in that moment, one of our assignment editors also says, yeah, we got a call about this from some family members. I checked with, the police department.
Yeah.
And they told us that she's not considered critically missing. So there were questions about critically missing people versus folks who are adults and are in good health.
Right.
And in Prince George's County, those cases are not typically labeled critical.
When media coverage is delayed, tips don't come in. Our community doesn't mobilize. You may walk by them, and not know that they're missing, and it stalls the case.
What was very clear to me is that Dakara's story was a serious one that we needed to pay close attention to. And Black and Missing felt the same way.
Once we again started getting that media coverage and utilizing social media to bring awareness to Dakara's case and others, it pushed law enforcement to really, take these cases seriously.
When I talked with the Prince George's County Police Department, here's how they put it. We made flyers. We disseminated those flyers in the places where she was last seen. We did the footwork. No, we didn't reach out to you all, but because of the family's grassroots efforts, you all did cover it. It moves me to anger, and it moves me to action, and it moves me to want to take a second look at what could have been done differently.
One of the things that I think I learned in my conversation with the co-founder of Black and Missing is that it's those first couple days where we, whether we as the media, we as community, we as the police departments, sometimes subconsciously treat missing people of color differently.
Yes.
You notice that?
Yes, absolutely.
How so?
That's the whole point in Black and Missing. What the response would have been had it been a 19-year-old white woman, blue eyes and blonde hair, whose things were in her vehicle and she was gone and no one knew where she was for days, what the response would have been. That's why Black and Missing started, because the feeling was these cases are not being treated equitably.
When we started the organization, missing people of color were under the radar as far as media coverage. And visibility is key when it comes to missing people of color and missing people in general. So we knew that we had to change that because visibility saves lives. We're not asking for anything different or special. We're asking for the same level of treatment, the same level of news coverage as anyone else. We see where our young girls, especially our young women, when they are missing, they're classified as a runaway. And if law enforcement is classifying them as a runaway, they do not receive the Amber Alert or any type of media coverage at all.
And as you point out, you're not looking for anything different. And yet the statistics of who's missing seem to overly represent people of color. How can that be, and how wide is that disparity, Natalie?
The disparity is wide when African Americans make up 13% of the US population, but nearly 40% of all persons missing are of color. And what we're also realizing is that cases of our children remain open 4 times longer because of that disparity.
They're frightening statistics. But because I understand those statistics, because I understand what happens when our girls go missing, and I think that that's also what people were trying to get to on social media when they were making those posts. They were saying, we don't trust the law.
Yeah.
We don't trust the media to shine a light on our missing.
And I'll give you an example. We've had cases here in the District of Columbia, and the families would call, the media outlets. And again, they were met with silence.
Prince George's County Police need your help tonight. They're looking for 2 13-year-old girls who've been missing now for 10 days.
So with those 2 cases with Janiyah, we received a call from Janiyah's aunt, desperately, pleading, can you please help me find my missing niece? And I was able to pick up the phone and call the news director for NBC4 and got that coverage. And then other news stations started covering their story. And guess what? Those young ladies were able to be found. There was a vigilant woman who happened to be driving by and saw 2 young women or young girls at a bus stop, and she recognized them from NBC's, coverage of them.
And look, you have been in Prince George's County long enough to have honest conversations with people there, and I'm not asking you to betray that trust. But did you get the sense there was some second guessing on their part after this case ended the way it did?
We asked the chief that question in the press room, and his response was, we don't know if it would have made a difference in this particular case. And the response was, the family was very vigilant. We made flyers, we passed out flyers, we did the things that we're supposed to do. What I got from that response, what he said, what I got was that, we followed protocol, and we don't know that had we done anything differently, it would have made a difference in this case. I can tell you that there was deep grief in his eyes when he said that.
Well, what question do you wish I would ask in those moments?
I wish that you would ask questions with humility. Don't just assume that my daughter, my sister, my loved one is out getting high, decided that he or she doesn't want to be bothered with our family or with her family. She's taking a binge. Those aren't the questions to ask right at that point.
I hope my colleagues hear that. I mean,
Yeah,
I think
without doubt.
that's a tough conversation in newsrooms, Derek.
It is. It really is.
Because I don't think we want to believe that we would do that.
Well, you might not want to believe it, but it happens. And I'm not saying it happens everywhere, but it does happen.
At the risk of airing our own dirty laundry, what is it you wish we would consider in our newsroom when we hear about a case like this? Whether it's a person of color or not, but especially when it's a person of color who's missing.
We have to hold law enforcement accountable. That's what we should be doing. Like what we did in that morning meeting when we were told, well, she's not considered critical. Well, what is critical to a mother?
Yeah.
What is critical to a father?
We really searched hard for Dakara.
There is a man charged with her murder, and we don't yet know how that case will work out. And so the finger deserves to be pointed at whomever did this.
Yeah.
But I do think it's valuable to have that conversation on the proverbial Monday morning about what did we know when and did we speak up soon enough? And I'm glad you raised the issue.
Yeah. Because can we do better? Can we do better? Because when it comes to missing people, we're a part of the rescue party.
There was a young lady by the name of Pamela Butler who went missing from the District of Columbia.
This isn't a club that anyone wants to be a part of.
Oh, no, without a doubt. You wouldn't want your worst enemy in this club here.
So how did it happen to you?
My sister went missing in 2009, Pam Butler, and I wanted to make sure that she got news coverage, that the case would be solved.
So what'd you do?
Bugged the hell out of all the news stations that I could. At this point, I mean, of course, we're starting to lose hope, but I mean, this, anything could happen. But, it's been almost 2 months, so we are expecting the worst.
How long did it take police and the system to solve your sister's case?
8 years. 8 years. My sister's case was an extremely hard case to solve. This guy had killed his first wife, so he kind of knew what he was doing. But I do believe, and I've had police officers that work for Metropolitan Police Department to tell me, had my sister been a white female, they would have done a lot more at the very beginning. First police officer that came to the house, he walked in, and my sister was a neat freak. I mean, everything in her house had a place. Police officer came over and looked around, and he said, well, I don't really see anything. Doesn't look like a struggle or anything took place.
Everyone who's written about your sister's case since it happened gives you the credit for being so persistent and not letting people forget.
Right.
Why'd you do it?
Well, first of all, I love my sister. I love my family. And I wanted to make sure that my mother knew what happened to her daughter before she had passed. And she's still living now.
Wondering, not knowing, every day, this is going to be the day, this is going to be the day.
I want to ask you again, how convinced are you that your sister's race played a role in how long her case remained open?
You look at the detectives that were on the case. Most of them had other things that they were trying to do or working on. Some of the detectives that I would talk to seemed like they didn't know anything about investigating a missing persons case. We probably went through about 7 lead detectives on that case. And some of them worked real hard, and some of them didn't do absolutely nothing.
Yeah. Who eventually did?
Michael Fulton. This guy, he got on the case, and in less than 3 months, and you got to remember the case had been going on for 7, almost 8 years at that point.
I think everybody was emotionally invested in getting justice.
I was very familiar with the case,
But what I was told was, hey man, this guy Derek, man, he's an advocate for his sister's case. He wants answers, and he has a direct line to the chief and direct line to the media.
What ultimately he would have wanted is to have his sister back, but you were able to get him an answer, at least
for sure,
to his case. How quickly did you do it?
Just kind of sort of meticulously going through it. Every time you find something new, you go back and watch video because you see it from a different perspective. And when you see it from a different perspective, you end up seeing something else that's been there the whole time.
And in less than 3 months, he solved it.
I called him early in the morning, and I said something like, "We got them." I cursed, and he was like, "What?" And it was a good feeling. It's a good feeling.
I bet.
It was a good feeling. Yeah.
But at what point do you realize then, hey, we need to go back to our case files and take a look?
So during this process was probably about a 1.5-year process as these sort of things were happening.
Yeah.
I'm talking to Derek. Derek is was connected with Black and Missing, and he's he's talking about this organization, Black and Missing, and so I meet Derica and Natalie, and I'm talking to them, and sort of not realizing, sort of the disparity that comes when, people of color go missing. It's a countrywide thing. And, you think you understand something, but, being a white male, I don't, I may think I understand, but Lord knows I didn't. I was like, I wonder if, how many more of these cases do we have? Well, there's 5 of them. So I collect them all, and I'm like, well, let's see what can be done with these.
And I think lights have gone off for me in reporting this issue,
sure.
But when did it go off for you, and what was it?
Well, for sure. So after the Unique Harris case and the discussions that we've had with Pam and Unique's family, as a unit, we're collectively talking to unit, and we're looking at what can we do better, and we're looking at our SOP of how these cases are supposed to be handled. We have to figure out a way to change that, and our SOP got changed to where if somebody gets reported missing and it's anything under suspicious circumstances, it comes right to our unit. And there's our unit, there's 9 of us. All of us are extremely experienced, and we have a lot more time. Since the SOP was changed, I think there's been 5 cases that have happened where people reported missing, and they came to us within 2 days. We were able to resolve them.
But these are hard conversations. They're hard conversations in newsrooms. I imagine they're equally hard in homicide squads or in police departments in a larger base. I mean, what is that reckoning like? What's the hard question you had to ask yourself?
Well, it wasn't hard for me. I mean, to do the right thing is do the right thing, and I've always found that.
Was it hard to believe that missing people of color were treated differently by police departments than white missing people?
I think it wasn't hard for me to believe. I think the big disparity, how blatant it was the thing that was more shocking. And dealing with Black and Missing, it's okay, things have to change, and and do the right thing.
So what are you doing different now that would have been great to do all along?
I think recognizing that yes, you have teenagers that get mad at their parents, and they run away, and they're going to come back. But I think that that some of those cases, they're homicides, and they're victims that are never going to be found. And that if we don't, the sooner that we put more resources to it, all our resources to it, the better our chances of solving it.
It's not easy though.
No, it's not. It's difficult. It's difficult. You do get resistance.
It has gotten better, but it's nowhere near where it should be.
16 years later, you're still working now with the foundation.
Right.
How important is that work to you?
It's really good. It's really therapy for me. I enjoy doing it. I hate the cases that we see, but I enjoy helping other people.
You ever think you're going to put yourself out of business at Black and Missing?
I hope we do. I hope it dies a natural death. I really do. We're making strides, but we're not where we should be. I don't think it's going to happen in my lifetime, but I do hope and pray that it would happen.
We don't want to end without reminding you there's something you can do to help. Detective Fulton reminded us there are still 5 cases the MPD found when combing their cold case files that he wants to close. He wants to give those families answers that have escaped them for far too long. DC is a small city. Everybody knows everybody. There's people out here in this city right now who know Barbara Dre, Aline Robinson, Judith Rohn, Stanley Crawford, Gwendolyn Carswell, Alicia Rudd. And that you may have information in this that you may not know is relevant. If you have information, if you think you have information, please reach out to us. Or if you don't feel comfortable reaching out to the police department, you can reach out to the Black and Missing Foundation. If you like this kind of context, we'd love for you to check out more of it on the NBC Washington YouTube page. Like it, subscribe to it. Tell us what you want to see in the comment section. I'm Ted Oberg from the News.
Whew, Black and Missing. So in Houston, in the Bayou, speaking about Black and Missing, these individuals aren't missing, but there was a young lady who was with friends partying. Then all of a sudden, her body was found in the bayou, and they claim that she took her own life. But every day that goes by, they're finding more bodies. And out there, the people out there are 10 toes down that they have a serial unaliver on their hands. The Black and Missing story, it has to continue. It's sad, but as stated in this story, a lot of times when something happens to a Black female, it's almost like, oh, well. Listen, guys, chat with me in the comments, and when I get an opportunity, I will chat back. If you're not a subscriber, subscribe. Hit the notification bell so that every time I upload a video, you will be notified. If you are a subscriber, welcome back, everybody. Thanks for watching. Let me know your thoughts on this story. If you ever had anybody missing in your family, I'm so sorry. And I really hope they were found. If they weren't found, perhaps you can find, you can call this Black and Missing Foundation, and they may be able to shed some light and help you and your family out. Thanks for watching, guys. Hit the like button. I'll see you on the next video.